Hello everyone, and so if you've never watched my channel before, you might not know my favorite Chaos Space Marine faction, or Legion, is the Night Lords. I really like them. My whole thing is, they don't entirely believe in Chaos, and that's why I really like them. And today I'm just gonna go over how I paint them. I'm not gonna be painting one, since I just painted one of my vehicles. So let's start off with vehicles. Vehicles, I base coat all the same. I Zenithal Prime with a black as a base coat for that Prime, and then a gray as a highlight for the Zenithal. And then I just do like one or two thin coats to let the Zenithal naturally show through. And I try and achieve this so I don't have to edge highlight or just normally highlight anything, because my whole thing is I focus on the lightning, the grime, and the skin. And the skin is in both ways, which we'll go over later. Which my Space Marine, because I have some cultists in my army, paint their skin different. Paint their skin all uniquely. My Night Lord skin I paint pale to honor their homeworld of Nostromo, the sunless world. So basically, I just base coat everything the same with Night Lord's Blue by Citadel. And so that's all my base coat for the actual main armor paneling, like shoulder pauldrons, leg armor, things like that. All the skin is base coated with a mix of my Skaven paint. It's a skin paint. So it's these two, a bit of this, a bit of this, and a bit of this. And also a bit of Blood Reaver Flesh, which is this. So all those paints combined and mixed into this color right here, which I base coat all my skin with, and then I'll usually hit it with a black wash and then a wash of this. But on this model in particular, if you can see, the skin is all, I did look up images of torn flesh, don't question it. It was specifically for research, don't worry. And so I also did some texturing on that with a bit of mix of this and Grelin Badland and Blood Reaver Flesh to add some texturing. I used some Blood for the Blood God mixed with a black paint and a green to get a rotting color. It's a lot of colors, and it's to achieve this product. All the lightning is with Fulgrim Pink, and sometimes if I want a little bit more coloration in lightning, I'll use some Phoenician Purple too. I don't really highlight the lightning. It's supposed to kind of feel childish, kinda, but it's also meant to feel kind of real. But you can do the lightning however you want. For the glowing effects, I'll either do Evil Sun Scarlet or Warpstone Glow. All the trim on this one specifically, I started off with my Verdigris. You can use anyone. My Verdigris paint is secret. No one gets to know it. Only me. I don't even remember. That's why I'm not telling it. And then I did a dry brushing of Death Metal from the Warpaints Fanatic range. For the legs on this specifically, all the metallic details that weren't like the trim and stuff, I started off with a mix of a black Mortarion grime, so you can use like Abaddon Black or Black Templar, or you can go for a bit more of a cold blue. So it's a black Mortarion grime and a Deathcore drab. You want a bit more black a tiny bit more black in there. You want like 25% Mortarion grime, 25% Deathcore drab, and then 50% of your black to get a greenish kind of greenish gray color. So that's what I do. That's what I did for all the base coating on the metallic bits. All the bone bits, they got hit with a base coat of Wraithbone and got hit with that same I did a wash of Deathcore drab on those, and then Mortarion grime, and then I highlighted it, and then I added some kind of blood effects, which is that same black blood paint, like that old blood paint mix that I did. And then I also, on all the metallics, I did a dry brushing of Iron Warriors to kind of, because I didn't want that glitter. I didn't want like the kind of glitteriness. I wanted the shine, which is what I got from that, from dry brushing it. You can use this with like a synthetic brush or anything like that. And then I did a little bit of my Marks color. You can use Dirty Down, whatever you want, and just added some streaking and build up in the recesses. And then I re-dry brushed with Plate Armor to make an extreme highlight. Kind of just show some more damage and weathering. For the heat effects on like the gun on top and the pipes, I did the same thing I did with the trim. So I verdigreased it up, dry brush of death metal, and then I started off with this is the same paint I used, but it's an MT1, this color from this range. It's a purple, and then I moved up to Phoenician purple. You're gonna want to wet blend this so it has a transition, and it's glazing. It's not anything crazy. It's like more of a glaze consistency, but it's a thicker consistency, and you'll kind of like rub a bit of it off if it gets too much. And then you move up to Night Lord's Blue. Crazy how much Night Lord's Blue there's in the Night Lords. Then Kayson, or not Kayson's Blue. Then Ultramarine Blue, which is a lighter blue. And then Thousand Suns Blue. And then this blue. Or well, it's Ultramarine Blue, then this blue. On all the glowing effects, it's a base coat of titanium white with a green glow, so use Warpstone Glow or whatever you want to do to achieve your green. The red trim, so there's some red trim, but it's metallic red trim. So I mixed Evil Sun Scarlet from Citadel and Plate Armor from the Duncan Rhodes Two Thin Coats paint range to get that effect. For some of the, like, kind of more chunky rust bits, where it's flaking, I did Martian Iron Crust mixed with my rust paint, a bit more of my rust paint to kind of get those chunky, cracking rust effects. The base is Starland Mud with some snow and some rubble. The little bit of terrain here was some dry brushing. It was just dry brushing. That's literally it. But that's basically how I do my nights. And also, if you're wondering how I did the little Blood Angels Terminator head, it was base coat of cadmium red or Mephiston red, whatever you want to do. There's no highlighting. It's just grime upon grime. And it's literally just all the grime I use. So that in order of what I did for the grime. Same steps. Or whatever order you want, because it still gives that, because it might give a different effect. The Guardsman helmet, literally just a base coat of Deathcore Drab, and then a wash of rust, and then the same grime effects that I did in that. Also, the Terminator helmet gets some rust. And then there's a fresh little Imperial Fist, because my friend Owen, he plays Imperial Fists, and, you know, I thought it would be funny to do that on a lot of my bases. And just in general. So any helmet, any Space Marine helmets are either going to be Blood Angel helmets, Black Templar helmets, or Imperial Fist helmets. So that's how I do my vehicles, and also there's a little bit of skin here. The skin, I'll do a different tutorial. I'll do a tutorial, I'll put it up on the channel, just for the skin. So a lot of the same steps kind of apply. Also, for the dry brushing for the gold bit on the terrain piece, that was used in Greedy Gold from the same range as Death Metal, which I really like Death Metal. I did it a bit different on the Knights, and I do it a bit different on my vehicles. So here is one of my Nemesis Claw. This is the Nemesis Claw Head Taker. The skin, I just discovered the new skin recipe. But the skin is basically the same steps for if you want to paint it. The red trim mix, obviously, on the chest, the helmet, the pauldrons, and the gauntlets. Everything else is Death Metal. Then a wash of Golden Griffon. Then a highlight of Greedy Gold. You can do some verdigris with that, too. Ooh, it will turn out good. For this Imperial Fist helmet on the top, it was a mix of these two paints, and then we just did some simple, quick and dirty, non-metallic metal. So just quick highlighting and wet blending. All the metallics, all like the base coat, like normal metallics on this are done in Iron Warrior. And then edge highlighted with the plate armor, and sometimes I do a black wash. The green glow is the same as the other models. And the pink lightning, same. There's a little bit of Wraithbone here, but all that's virtually the same. So I have one of my Terminators. My Terminators I paint completely differently from the rest of my army. I paint them with blue lightning to kind of show their age, because they had a bit more blue lightning in the Horse Heresy and the Great Crusade. So that's why I have that. All the other stuff is kind of the same. Skin will be the same. Everything else will be the same, except I do pink, blue, and purple lightning. I do a lot of lightning. And then the eyes is in... A lot of it's the same as the other models I've done. My lords, I paint different. I paint my... So this is a kit bash that I did. This is really where my skin recipe comes into play. So it's Ulthuan Gray with a black wash and re-highlighting it. Sometimes I'll do an extra wash of Mortarion Grime. All the bone details are done in Wraithbone, and then basically the same. All the gore is plastic, is Blood for the Blood God, and plastic glue from Army Painter. All the metallics are done the same. All the trim, all that stuff is done the same. So is the skin. Now we have just one of my normal infantry, which no red trim. No red trim. The chainsaw, I painted them as the same as chainsaws. There is a little bit of a different part from a different kit. Since I bought the Combat Patrol, I had some possessed heads laying around, so I used this for this because it felt pretty gunner-y. I could fit a gunner. I did some verdigris on him, a darker verdigris, kind of more grimy verdigris color. I did for that. Nope, I just got painted myself. Great. And then here's one of my cultists. Basically, it's the same Skaven skin paint on him, and there's some like bruising and minor bruising and stuff. Basically the same, except the cloth is done in, it's not skin, it's storm vermin fur with some just minor highlighting. That's really how I paint my Night Lords. There's a bit more steps to it, and I will be uploading a tutorial over on the channel. Well, this is on my channel. I don't know what I'm saying, but we will be uploading it. I will be uploading a tutorial on this channel so you guys can learn how to paint your Night Lords in my style. Or I also do some other things. I will also be uploading a video of how to paint my Space Wolves, which I do in non-metallic metal. I don't have editing software yet, so I can't like edit a picture of the one for an example. But we will be doing more videos, like tutorial style videos. So thank you for the support. Also, subscribe if you haven't, because I don't upload a ton, but when I do, it's usually something pretty good. So if you can, like, subscribe, and I thank you for the support. I have nothing more to say, and that's it from me. I'm just gonna shut up now. See y'all.